Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome you to family. Welcome to my channel, Learn Arabic with Dr. Elnoor. Today I have a new video, and this video is all about the present tense in Arabic. We call it al-fi'l al-mudari'. Al-fi'l al-mudari' in Arabic. Today is going to be the topic of this lesson. Please buckle up. Let's go to take a ride. Let's do it. All right, let's embark into this journey. Al-fi'l al-mudari', and as we said, and as I said, is the present tense. So today we are going to have one word that we are going to conjugate it throughout using the personal pronouns or the subject pronouns highlighted in green here. And the present tense is highlighted in red all across. So let's use the word kataba, and here ana is I or I am. Aktub ad-dars. Ad-dars is the lesson, as you can see here. Aktub, kataba is to write. I write is aktub, so we insert an alif here. Hamza with an alif. Ana aktub ad-dars. Ana aktub ad-dars. That's how the present tense is conjugated when we talk about ourselves doing something. Ana, I, or I am, aktub ad-dars. And in Arabic, the present tense could mean like the present tense and the present continuous. In this case, ana aktub ad-darsa could mean I am writing the lesson, or I write the lesson. So let's move to the second one here. نحن نكتب الدرس. نحن نكتب الدرس. نحن is we, and naktub, we insert the noon, and then we add the verb kataba. We put it as is. نحن نكتب الدرس. We write the lesson. And these two examples here are talking about the first person. The first person is I. I am the speaker. So the speaker will be the first person, whether it's I or we. So that's how the present tense is conjugated in the first person. Let's move to the second person. And the second person, I mean, is you are talking to someone who is present. You are addressing someone who is in front of you. That's why they call it the second person. Let's move and see how the present tense is conjugated in the second person. Anta is you, singular masculine. Taktub, we have the ta, we add the ta, and then we write the letter or the word kataba. Kataba, as we said, is to write. Anta taktub ad-dars. You, masculine singular, write the lesson or writing the lesson. You are writing the lesson. Anta taktub ad-darsa. Anti taktubin ad-darsa. Anti, you, singular, female or feminine. Taktubin ad-dars. So we have the prefix here, ta, and after we put the verb, we put the ya noon for the she, or sorry, you, singular feminine. Anti taktubina ad-darsa. Antuma taktuban ad-darsa. Antuma taktubani ad-darsa. Antuma is dual, you dual. Could be two male or two female, or a male and a female. We address them using antuma. Taktubani ad-dars. Taktub, so we add the ta as a prefix, and then we add the alif noon at the suffix at the end. So we have all the letter ta as a prefix when we conjugate present tense in the second person, you. Okay, أنتما تكتبان الدرس. أنتم تكتبون الدرس. أنتم تكتبون الدرس. أنتم, you all. Plural, masculine. Could be masculine and feminine, but has masculine, like men, one or two men, and the rest are women, or it's women. Women and men, we address them using antum, you all. But we say you all, plural, masculine. Taktubuna ad-dars. So we add the ta at the beginning as a prefix, and then we put the verb kataba, and then we add the waw noon for the plural, you all. Antum taktubuna ad-darsa. Antunna taktubna ad-dars. Antunna taktubna ad-dars. Antunna is you feminine plural. You feminine plural, writing the lesson or write the lesson. Antunna. Also, we have the verb kataba, and then we add the ta. And then after the verb, we add the noon for the plural feminine. Antunna taktubna darsa. So as you can see here, for the second person, we, as the prefix, we always attach or add the ta at the beginning. They call it, the reason they call it prefix is this letter goes, prior to the verb, or pre, that means ahead of the verb. So we put the prefix ta, 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 ta for all, and then we add the suffix ya, noon, alif, noon, waw, noon, noon. This is how the present tense is conjugated using the verb rule at right, kataba. Let's move to the third person. And the third person called that way because that person is not with us. We are not talking to that person. We are talking to someone else about someone else. So the person that we are talking about is the third person, the person who is absent at the moment. So let's see how the present tense is conjugated for that person. Huwa is he, could be he is or he. Huwa yaktubu darsa. Huwa yaktubu ad-dars. So the present tense is we add the letter ya, and then we put the verb kataba in highlighted or written in black. Huwa yaktubu ad-darsa. He writes the lesson, or he is writing the lesson. That's how the present tense. Hiya taktubu ad-darsa. Hiya is she, because it's the personal pronoun or the subject pronoun or the doer of the sentence, because she is doing the writing. So here تكتب الدرس, she writes the lesson or she is writing the lesson. Also here we attach ta to the verb كتب. هما يكتبان الدرس. هما يكتبان. هما is they, two. Two could be two feminine, like two male or two females, two males or two females, or one male and a female. We address them using huma, they. Duo. يكتبان الدرس. They write the lesson, or they are writing the lesson. So this is the present tense. هم يكتبون الدرس. هم, they, masculine plural. They, هم يكتبون, they are writing the lesson, or they write the lesson. Because both in this case is right. Because we're not 100% sure which one, but that's the present tense. هم يكتبون الدرس. هن يكتبن الدرس. هن يكتبن الدرس. They, plural, feminine. We address them using, we add the prefix ya, and then we put the verb kataba to write, and then we add the noon. يكتبن الدرس. They are writing the lesson, or they write the lesson. As you can see here, the prefix for the third person is always the ya, except for she. It's a ta. So the ta belongs to the second group, which is the second person. But in this case, here is an exception. All the prefix is ya except for she, and then you see the suffix for they dual, they two is alif noon. For they plural masculine is waw noon. They plural feminine is noon. So these are the prefix and the suffix for the present tense. I think I have a nice formula here. You can use this formula by just plugging in. You have other verbs. You can just use the verb, as I use the verb kataba. You can use different verbs. You just plug them in, and then you will end up having the present tense, or the sentence is conjugated in the present form. So let's see the formula, and I think it's very helpful. Say الفعل المضارع, present tense, verb conjugation chart. So الضمير is pronoun, and these pronouns are personal pronouns or the subject pronouns. the pronouns of the doers, those who do stuff, not being the object of the sentence, but being the subject of the sentence. So they do, and in the present tense. So ana, I or I am, you start your conjugation for the present tense, you put the hamza or the alif, and then you put the verb here. You can use different verbs like darasa, so ana adrusu, I study or I am studying. So you just put the verb here. Nahnu, we, nadrus. So here, ana ends with the alif, you start with the alif. Nahnu, we, ends with the noon, you start your conjugation with the noon for the present tense. Anta, anta, ends with the ta, and then you start your conjugation with the ta for anta, you masculine singular. Anti ends with the ta, but the ta has the kasra. Anti or anta. Ta here has the fatha, here has the kasra. When the ta has the fatha, the you masculine. Here, you singular feminine. Anti. So you start your conjugation with the ta, and then you put the verb here in these dots, put the verb, and then you add ya noon. Anti tadrusina, anti ta'kulina. That's how it conjugated. And antuma, also, so you start with the prefix with the ta, and then you put the verb and alif noon at the end. Antum, you all. This for two or dual. This is for you all, masculine, plural. It could be masculine and feminine, or females and males and females. Also, we address them using antum, you all. Taktubun or tadrusun, ta'kulun. You just put the ta, start the prefix as a ta, and then you plug in your verb here, and then you add waw noon for the present tense. Antunna, you all feminine, plural. Also, you start with the ta, and then you plug in your verb, and then you add the noon for antunna. You carry the noon here. As you can see here, for the first person, alif, alif, noon, noon, and then ta as the prefix all across the second person. And then you add ya noon, alif noon, waw noon, noon. So always see noon is here. Noon is permanent in these suffix. Okay, moving to the third person. And the third person is he, she, they. And huwa is he or he is. And always you start your conjugation for the present tense using the ya, because here the ta, we here use the ya. Huwa, use the ya, and then you put your verb here. Here, she or she is, we start with the ta. And I said this is an exception. Ta belongs to this group here. See the group of ta here as for the prefix, but here is only the exception. And as you can see here, she, say she writes or she studies. Here tadrus with the ta, wa anta tadrus, the same thing. So conjugation, you masculine, singular, doing something, and she, singular, feminine, doing something, the same conjugation. See, ta, same. There is no difference. Homa, we said for dual, two, they, could be masculine or feminine, or could be a female and a male. It doesn't matter. Two, we start the conjugation with the letter ya, and then you put the verb and the alif noon. Also here, alif noon. Whom, they, and they, masculine, plural. You start with the ya, and then you put the verb, and then you have the waw noon at the end in the present form. Hunna, they feminine. They feminine. You start with the ya, then you put the verb, and then you add the noon. And as you can see here, also noon. Alif noon, waw noon, noon. Ya all across as a prefix, except for she. She kind of belongs to this group, but not really. So alif noon, ta, and then ya noon, alif noon, waw noon, noon, ya, ta, ya, alif noon, waw noon, noon. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. شكرا جزيلا. أراكم في الفيديو القادم. See you in the next video. But if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like it, and also share it with your friends or family members so we can roll and learn Arabic together. This